Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Book Trifles. And today it's Gilt v. Stain. Yep, might be guilty pleasures, but no, I'm not talking about that type of guilt. I'm talking about gilt edging on page edges of books, staining, and other things, other types of decoration on edges. Uh, Now, I have props for most that I want to talk about, but by no means is this an exhaustive list. Um, the most common one is plain page edges that we've had for hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds of years. And here's an example, a prop. And you see the page edges are white, but let's look at the top. You see that's tarnished or darkened. Uh, and there's a variety of reasons for this. It's dust is probably the main reason that is there, and then nobody's house or place where they keep their books are climate controlled, that are exact humidity and temperature. So you get dust on there, and then you get a bit of humidity. Paper will absorb moisture. So and it will absorb the dirt as well to a certain extent. Or if you just don't clean them, like I do a lot of times, but a little brushing every so often, every few months, gets rid of the dust. And don't try not to use your fingers, because when you use your fingers or even a strong brush, what you're doing is you're pushing the dust into the paper, which can cause this. If it doesn't matter to you, that's fine. Or blowing it, but again, you're putting moisture from your mouth, and you're not going to get all the dust off as well. So the perfect thing is a really nice soft brush. I use a makeup brush. Don't get me talking about going into the makeup counter and say, "I'd like a makeup brush." You get some strange looks, I can tell you that. So yeah, that's one way to do it. But also, it's if it's in the sun, light can damage the paper and make it go yellow and dark. So it can be, it usually starts at the edges and then creeps in, or sometimes the whole page gets yellowed, browned, brittle, depending on the quality of the paper. So we got the plain ones. Let's move to staining. Now, most common, I guess, well, not so common today, but they are doing staining edge of books. But a lot of times it's just the top edge. But you see, this is an old book. It's probably as old, if not old, as the other one. This is 1977. This one is 1967. Well, it's actually, 1969. So it's a bit older, the first one. But you see, there's no discoloration in this. It's still just really, really nice. The front pages, but you see there's some foxing because of the paper quality. It's hard to pick it up on the camera, and it's still fairly white, but really, really nice. But dust can affect this as well. It can dull the color, and you can see, you can't see it on the can't see it on the camera, but there is a bit of discoloration because of dust, I think. But also light and sun will do this as well. And it depends on how well it's done, because sometimes you can see the ink coming right into the pages. But yeah, I do like those. And then we got the staining all the way around. And here's an example of one. This is a brand new book, the Lord of the Rings, which I will be reading in January. I've not read it yet, but it's got stain at the top, bottom, and it's got something neat on the front page edges, which aesthetically it's really cool, but potential issues. It's got whatever elfish writing or whatever that happens to be. It's not English, that's all I know. And I don't know which way it starts. I'm assuming it's like that, but it could be like that. I don't know. But you see, it's stained around the lettering. And it looks really cool. But chances are, when you read it, it's going to discolor. because of a variety of things. Ink on the paper. A lot of times, the ink comes off on the oils of your fingers. You can never have it your fingers oil free because it's just part of your skin. So it can fade it a little bit, and well, obviously sunlight fade. And the other thing to talk about is when you do have this kind of staining all the way around. How many times have you read a book, a paperback mostly, and when you're done, you see in the center where you're holding it open like this, where your thumb is or your finger is, it's gray or sometimes black. It'll and again, it's the oils. It could be dust on it, and then you touch it again, so the dust gets pushed in with the oils, or just the ink that's coming off. It's like a light switch. Like people think, oh, you have dirty fingers when you go to a light switch. It could be, but a lot of times is that you touch something like that or a wall, and if you continually touch it, you're putting oils on that surface, and then dust collects on there. Then you touch it again, and you're smearing the dust, and hence you get sort of dirt there. So yeah, so you get all sorts of things that. And then we got gilt edge. There's one with gilt on the top, but you can see there's scratches and scuffs. That's can be the problem with gilt edges. And there's dust on there as well. I can see the dust. So it can be tarnished a little bit by dust and age. And it's real gold on older books. But you see there's nothing on there on the bottom pages are untrimmed. They're a bit rough. So yeah, so you've got that. I do like gilt. And I've seen silver as well. I don't think I've seen another. I've seen silver and gold, and I don't know if it's called silver gilt. I don't know. But then you get the more deluxe ones. You got the gilt on top. You see a little bit of scuffing, but look at the front page. Like that is just beautiful. Look at the sheen on that because it's been on a shelf and it's protected, and so is that. But the top, is obviously out, and you can see slight scuffs on it. So it's really nice. Pages sometimes, even with the staining, pages will sort of stick together a little bit at the edges when the first time it's opened. Now, you also get something on gilt edge. I don't have an example of this. What at certain books from a certain age, you can do this, and I'll put one up on the thumbnail. You do this, and there'll be a picture painted on the edge. You can't see it when it's like this. You can only see it when it's curved like this. And a lot of them are naughty pictures, but not all. I won't put up a naughty picture because I'll get it taken down. I'll be banned from YouTube, the internet, for something that would today be very innocent for the most part. Not all of them are. I'll leave that up to your imagination. So yeah, so we've got that. And then the last one I want to look at is marbling. And my next video will be specific to marbling, so I'll cover this slightly again. Now, you've got marbling, on this case, all around. Not maybe the best of marbling on this, and take a look at my next video where I will be talking a little more about marbling. So it's fading on the top and a little bit on the front end, but the bottom's fairly good. And you see this, I don't know if they do marbling much anymore, or real marbling, because it's an art to do it, to have this dipped into the inks. Inks are, I think it's just water, but the oil inks are put in blobs into a big vat of water, and then they come along with a piece of wire, a pin type thing, and they'll draw it back so it gives it a pattern, and then they'll use it for the paper and page edges or what have you to create the marbling. And it's always unique to that vat, the marbling. So that I always like those. So what do you like? Do you like marbling? Or staining, playing, or any others? Because this is by no means exhaustive, with this. So do let me know, and watch out tomorrow for marbling. Take care, BookTube.